What's up guys? Today we're going to be showing you how to install Super ATV's RGB fang lights on this Polaris RZR Turbo. So let's get right to it. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and remove the grill from our machine. We have our machine up on the lift today. It's not necessary. We just did it to make it a little bit easier. So whenever you go to remove your grill, you're going to see you have two tabs. I'm going to pull down on both of them. Pull them out, remove the grill, and set it aside. And then as you can see, we have our factory inserts here to where our fang lights are going to install. We're going to want to go ahead and remove them. You're going to have three 11mm nuts. So we'll just take a wrench, come right in here, and start loosening our nuts up. And once you have all your nuts removed, you can just grab your factory insert. Just go ahead and remove it, and we will discard this. So if you look at your voltage regulator, you'll see that you have two plugs going into it. If you run your finger down the harness, you're going to see that there's a wire protruding out here. If you grab a hold of that wire and pull it through, that's the plug, the factory plug for the fang lights. Sometimes there'll be a piece of tape on it. You might just have to peel that off. That way you can get the plug down here to where it needs to be. Over on the driver's side, you'll have to come up through the inner fender well, and if you feel around, you'll feel this pigtail, and it'll actually be tied in right here to the fan shroud, the bracket. So once you've done that, you'll just want to feed it up to the front, just like we did on the opposite side for the opposite side plug. And then we'll go grab our fang lights, and we'll start getting them installed. So we're going to go ahead and grab the left-hand side fang light. As you can see here on the bottom of the light, it says LH for left hand. So now what we're going to do is take our fang light, we're going to slide this piece of wiring that's coming off the light through this squared hole in the front fascia. Slide the light in, and then we're going to take our factory nuts. And now these are going to be pretty much a self-tapper. So there's no threads on the studs. The nuts we have here will self-tap right to them. You just want to make sure that you don't over-tighten them. You know, about one turn is all you're really going to be able to get on these, so keep that in mind. If you strip them, they're not going to want to stay in. You could potentially lose them while you're going down the trail. So once we have them started, like I said, we'll go ahead and just put one turn on them. You don't want to try to crank these down. If you do, you're most likely going to strip them. So we're going to get them to where they're snug, and that's going to be all we're going to be able to do. Once you have this side done, just repeat the same exact steps for the opposite side, and then it's time to get to wiring. Alright, so now we have our Pro RGB controller here that has both of our connections. You're going to see it has a connection to connect to the factory plug, the one that we exposed, the one that was tied up on the frame, and then also it's going to have another connector here. This connector is if you have a turn signal kit already installed in your machine, you're going to take a jumper wire and run it into this connector. Just got a little spade connector here. And once you've done that, whenever you hit your turn signal, it's going to illuminate your fang lights on either the left or right side, depending on which side your turn signal is engaged on. So we're going to go ahead and wire this up. So now we're going to take our harness and we're going to plug it in to the fang light. So this connector here has a little notch on it, and the connector that's right off the back of the fang light will have the same notch. You just want to make sure that you get them lined up. Slide it together, and then you'll take this nut that's on the connector and just hand tighten it. Then we'll come right here to the factory harness. This is the wire that we fed down through. We want to go ahead and pull this cap off, and we'll take our connector, plug it in, repeat the same steps for the opposite side, and then we're just going to go ahead and tie up all our wiring, get it all tidied up and out of the way. So what we did to mount our RGB controller here, we just took a couple zip ties and zip tied it right to the frame. As you can see, it's sturdy, it's not going anywhere. This is a waterproof controller, so you don't have to worry about it getting wet and get ruined or anything like that. It's a good, safe place for it. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and get our grill, reinstall it, And we're going to go to the inside of the machine, turn the key to the on position. We're going to grab our remote control, and then we're going to show you the functionality of these fang lights. So now we're just going to walk over here to the inside of the machine, turn the key to the on position, and as you can see, the fang lights immediately illuminate whenever you have the key on. So now here we have our remote. We have a bunch of different options. You can go different modes. You can change the brightness. You can change the speed. Like I said, just you can shuffle through all kinds of awesome different patterns, or if you just want a solid color, you've got multiple color options here. Very simple, very easy to use.